Hello, welcome back to Animated Literacy. This is lesson number 55 from the Story Song and Action book. In our last lesson, we learned about a character named Ichabod Ichthyosaurus and his diver friend named Iggy. And we also learned in that lesson not to be afraid of big words like Ichthyosaurus. And this was one of my favorite posters that says, "Don't be afraid to use big words with little kids. If they can say Tyrannosaurus Rex, they can say anything." So we learned that a simple way to do long words like that is to use head and shoulders, knees and toes, and say the word slowly, syllable by syllable. So put your hand on your head and say this after me. Go ick-thee, ick-thee. Now go down to your knees for head and shoulders, knees and toes. A-saurus, a-saurus. So now let's put that all together. Ichthyosaurus. So how many syllables in that word? 5 syllables. Today we're going to be practicing with Ichabod sound, and we're going to be drawing some pictures that have Ichabod sound and letter in them. Before we do that, let's do some practice with our foods and put Ichabod sound into those. So if Ichabod eats an egg, what are we going to call it? Ig. So we're going to pretend we have an itch. Cross that center line by putting this arm to this side and this one over here and go I. So now this would be called what again? Ig. If we have a peach, what's that going to be called? Either say this before me or after me. Ready? Pitch. Pitch. If we have a banana, what are we going to call that? Banana. Your turn. Banana. So 3 times. And just like banana, 3 times for potato. Ready? P-t-t. Again. P-t-t. If we have a tomato, what are we going to call that for Ichabod? T-mi-t. Again. T-mi-t. And if we have a squash, it's going to be simple. It's just going to be a what? Squish. Squish. So you can try all your other different foods in that and have a lot of fun with Ichabod sound. Well, today we're going to be drawing a picture of a pig first. So you can talk with your mom or your dad or your teacher about what you know about pigs. And here's some Skybrary books about pigs. This first one is Pig Has a Plan. So you can figure out what his plan is. And pigs are known for loving to roll and play in the mud. And so here's a pig playing in the mud. So that book's a lot of fun. There's an old poem about the cow that jumped over the moon. In this one, it's Pig Jumps Over the Moon. And here, Little Pig has a band. We're going to be talking about some names that animals have for babies. And here it says Piggy's Pumpkin Patch. But we usually don't call them piggies. If it's a little pig, it's called, do you know what? Piglet. And we're going to learn the name of another baby animal a little bit later. And here's a book about baby animals and their names. Of course, the most famous pig is one of the pigs in the 3 Little Pigs. And so here I've got a pig who came to visit us from the 3 Little Pigs. And here's the book, The 3 Little Pigs. So let's go ahead and get started by taking out our pen. On the count of 3, take your cap off. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And you can draw either on the back of the song that we're going to do at the end of the lesson or on a blank piece of paper like I'm doing. So take out your paper. And just like with all of our animals and people, we're going to start with eyes. So I'm going to make a circle here for an eye. Then come over a little bit and make another circle for an eye. Now we need the pupils. So I'm going to make my pig looking down. So I'll put his pupils at the bottom, but you can put them anywhere you want. And I'll leave a little bit of uncolored so it's got some life. Now a pig has a snout. So we're going to draw his snout. So instead of a nose, he has a snout. So I'm going to make 2 little circles. Then I'm going to make a curve above the little circles. And then I'm going to come around, up, around, and back to that side. So there's our pig's snout. And this pig loves to eat, like most pigs do. So we're going to give him a big smile for all the slop he gets to eat. Now we're going to make the pig's head. So first, to make the head, I'm going to start next to the eye, about halfway down and a little bit over from it, and make a curve that goes right over the top. Then we're going to give him some big cheeks. So I'm going to come out from here and down under the mouth. Then I'm going to come out from here, down, and connect. So there's our pig's face. Now, our pig has some big pointy ears. So I'm going to come over here, make a curve that comes up, another curve that comes up, and kind of make it come to a point. Then I'll come over here and do the same thing, a curve, curve out, and then up to a point. So there's our pig's ears. Now, pigs are really well known for digging, so they have kind of sharp hooves. And if you don't, when you put up a fence, if you don't make that fence go way down underground, they'll dig right under it and get out. So we're going to make his hooves here. So I'm going to come down from here, give a little bit of a point, down again, and back up. Then I'll come over here, come down, up, down, up. And so there's his front hooves. Now we're going to give him his tummy. And this pig's been eating a lot, so he's pretty full. So there's his round tummy. And then we're going to give him some back hooves. So I'm going to come down again, make like a little W. And then come down again like a little W, and then back up. Now we're going to make the rest of his body. So I'm going to start next to his head here, come around and all the way down to here. Now, pigs have those kind of curly tails, so we're going to give this pig a curly tail. So I'm going to come from back here and curve up and back down like so. Then I'm going to come and make another line right outside of that line and parallel. And I'm going to stop when I get to the line, skip over the top, start over again, so it looks like that piece is underneath the other. What did we call this? A pig. What's the first sound you hear in pig? Everybody say pig. What do you hear first? P for painting. Show me painting. And let's put a straight line down for our P, and then back with a curve for P, painting. What's the next sound you hear in pig? Say pig. Cross over and show me itch and go itch. And how do we spell that? With an I, so a straight line and a dot for our I. Say the last sound you hear in pig. Pig. G. And what am I doing? G. Gliding. And how does Gilda Goose spell that? With a G, so start your G with a circle, go straight down, and give it a hook down at the bottom. And that's a noun because it has an outline and it names an object, so we'll put it in a circle and tie the string on. Now the next one, we talked about baby animal sounds, and a baby pig is called a piglet. I'm going to draw something next, but I won't tell you what it is, so we'll do a mystery draw and see if you can guess. So for my next animal, I'm going to start with an I again. So make a circle up here for your I. Then I'm going to have him looking at the pig. So there's the dot looking at the pig. This animal has horns. So I'm going to come just a little bit above the I and make a curve. Then I'm going to come down and let it widen a little bit with another curve. And there's a horn. Now his nose is a little bit long, so I'm going to put come out and put a dot here. Then I'm going to come just a little bit up the horn and make a line that comes down around the dot and up into a smile. Now we're going to finish the head by coming back to this horn and go just a little bit up the horn, come down around and back up and connect to the smile. Now his next horn, I'm going to come in front of this one and start from his head and come up and back down. So there's his other horn. Now he's got a great big ear. I'll give him a big floppy ear. Now we're going to give him the rest of his body. So I'm going to start here right behind the mouth, come straight down, out and across. Then from his head, I'm going to come down a little bit and out. Then I'm going to take and connect those two lines with a curve. Now his feet come down with a long rectangle. Make another long rectangle next to it, and this animal has hooves. So for his hooves, I'm just going to put a line there and then a line down. Now we're going to make his back legs. So I'm going to come down from here again with a long rectangle, down with a long rectangle, and give him two back hooves. Now he needs a tail. So I'm going to come up here with a tail. And this animal has some kind of whiskers. It has almost a goatee. Did you guess what we drew a picture of? If you guessed a goat, you're right, but I said this was going to be a baby goat. Do you know what a baby goat is called? Let's find out. Let's start with our rhyme. So our rhyme in this has to start with a vowel. So I is a vowel sound. And then and what's the sound for I? I for itching. Then it ends with a D. So a circle and then a straight line down. Now let's see if we can put those two sounds together. Ready? Id. Id. What does that say? Id. Did you guess what this might be? Let's see if you got it right. Make a straight line down. Come back with an angle line for a K. And what's the sound for Kimmy Kangaroo's letter K? K. So now let's put the three sounds together. Ready? K. Id. Kid. And what did we call this? Just like we do for many boys and girls, we called it a kid. So a baby goat is called what? A kid. Okay. Our next one, I told you that pigs love to dig. So I've got some space here, or you can find another place on your page that you have space. And we're going to draw something that you can dig with. And here's a picture of a couple Skyberry books where people are digging. And these people are digging for buried treasure that the pirates might have put there. And here, this character's digging with a shovel. Well, we're going to dig with something a little different from a shovel. So let's see if you can guess what this is. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to start a square, but I'm not going to make the top of the square. So just the two sides and the bottom. Then I'm going to make a curved line coming out here and another curved line coming out here. Then I'm going to go from this curved line up over the top and right back down to this curved line. Then I'm going to make a little square on top. Now we're going to give it a handle. So I make a straight line down, another straight line down, connect it. So there's another rectangle. And the handle's made out of wood, so we'll give it some grain here. Can you guess what we drew a picture of? Don't tell anyone, but let's see if you got it right. Let's start with the rhyme again. So here's the rhyme. I for itching. And then this one ends with CK that can either be for Kimmy Kangaroo or Crazy Camel. So now this goes I, k. Put those two sounds together. Ick. Ready? Ick. So what does that say? Ick. So if something is icky, it's kind of messy, but this isn't messy at all. So let's see what it is. Let's see if you guessed right. Let's put a P in front of it with a straight line and a curve. What's the sound for P? P. And if we put P in front of ick, what do we get? Pick. So you can dig with a pick that looks like this. Okay. Now, when we learned the story of Uncle Upton, we learned that when he was a child, he loved playing baseball. And in order to play baseball, you have to have some tools. So you have to have a ball. And then to make it easier to catch, you might have a mitt to catch your ball in. So when Uncle Upton was little, he had a mitt like this, and he had a ball. So we're going to draw a mitt and a ball. So find a place on your paper that you've got a little bit of space. I'm going to come down here under my goat. And I'm going to start the mitt with a curve, just like that. Then I'm going to keep coming up from this side of the curve and back down for the thumbs, because a mitt has to have a thumb. Then for the fingers, I'm going to make a little curve here. Now how many fingers are we going to have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and back down. Now, in order to make it easier to catch, a mitt has this webbing that's back here. So we're going to draw the webbing for the mitt. So I'm going to make a curve from the thumb over to the top of the fingers, another curve, and then color that in a little. And I'm going to do the same thing one more time. So there's the web. Now gloves are sewn together, so the stitching between the fingers kind of has these little X's. So we're going to make those in our mitt with an X here, 2, 3 X's. Now Uncle Upton liked to catch the ball, so we're going to draw a picture of a ball right here in his mitt. So make a circle, and then make a curve going here, a curve going here, and then a couple little lines on each curve for the stitching. Then down at the bottom, the mitt has stitched together, so I'm just going to make some little short lines across the bottom of the mitt. Now what did we call that? Mitt. What's the first sound you hear in mitt? M. What's Mimi Mermaid's letter? M for moving your magic mop. What's the next sound you hear in mitt? Mitt. I for itching. Take your straight line down. What's the last sound you hear in mitt? Mitt. Mitt. T for tickling. T for tickling. And mitt has 2 T's at the end. I'm going to squeeze those 2 T's in and tie the string on. So when he was little, he used a mitt that looked like this. Then when he got older, he wasn't playing baseball. He was making onion soup, and he had to cook it up in a pan that was really hot to pick up. So now he has a different kind of mitt for cooking. And this mitt starts like this. Make a curve. Come down a little bit from here, and then we're going to come out and up for a thumb. Then we'll go down, straight down, kind of curve straight down, put a little line at the bottom. And then here's some pictures of some oven mitts that you use for cooking. And you can see where it's got some lines there so they can stuff it with quilting so you don't get burnt when you pick things up. So there I put some diagonal lines, and here I'm going to make some other lines coming back. So now we can just draw another line to that mitt. Now the next thing we're going to draw with his sound, years ago people learned that they didn't need, before airplanes were invented, they could go up in a big hot air balloon. So they would heat up the air, or they would put in a special very lightweight gas, and then they would ride in a little basket down here. But the problem with those balloons is you never knew where they were going to go. The wind would blow it wherever it wanted. So then they kind of turned the balloon on its side, put the basket underneath, and then they put a little propeller, and they put some sort of like little wings or flippers on the back so that now they can control where it goes, and that was called a blimp. So we're going to draw a picture of a blimp. So find another place on your page. Here I've got a spot down here. So I can put a dot here and a dot here. Then I'm going to connect the 2 dots with a curve, and then connect underneath with a curve. Then I can take and make another curve inside that curve, make another curve here, and I'm going to put a straight line there. So there's the balloon part. Now we need a place to ride. So I'm going to make 2 little lines coming down like this, and then connect them, and then give them a little window to look out of. Now to make this go where you want it to go, you have to have a propeller. So I'm going to stick a propeller out the back here, and make another line. So now that goes around and around and around, and it controls where the blimp's going. So let's write the word blimp now. What do you hear first? Blimp. Blimp. B for bowing. So there's my straight line on my curve. What do you hear next? Blimp. Itching again. Whoop. There's another letter we missed. Let's try it again. Blimp. So let's make that I into an L. So just kind of make it straight up, okay? Now say it again. Blimp. I for itching. Blim. M for moving your magic mop. And what does it end with? Blimp. Blimp. For painting. So what did we draw pictures of today? We drew a picture of a blimp, a pick, a pig, a kid, and 2 different kinds of mitts. Okay, well, let's see what song we can put those in today. Today I have a new song that I'm going to be showing you, but it's really not that new because we've already done Skip to My Lou. So this is just a different way of singing Skip to My Lou.
Rosie, Rosie, what can you do?
Rosie,
Rosie, what can you do? Rosie, Rosie, what can you do? Skip to
What can Rosie
my
do? She can ride like a cowboy.
I can ride like a cowboy. I can ride like a cowboy. I can ride like a cowboy. Skip to my Lou, my darling.
So when the tape was singing that song, it sang like this. The first verse was about Rosie, so they put Rosie here twice. Rosie, Rosie. So take out your paper, put your finger here on the circles, and we'll sing it the way it was on the recording. Rosie, Rosie, what can you do? Rosie, Rosie, what can you do? Rosie, Rosie, what can you do? Skip to my Lou, my darling. Now what could Rosie do? She could ride. So we could sing it this way. I can ride like, and who's she riding like? A cowboy. I can ride like a cowboy. I can ride like a cowboy. I can ride like a cowboy. Skip to my Lou, my darling. So when you do your paper, you can put your name in this circle and then put your name again here. Or if you want, you can put your first name here and your last name here. Now when we come down here, the first thing we drew a picture of today was what? A pig. So let's put the word pig in this circle. What's the first sound in pig? P for painting. What's the next sound in pig? I for itching. What's the last sound in pig? G. G for gliding. Pig. Now what could you do to be like a pig? I told you about what a pig does, where it's got these little bit sharp hooves and they're really good at digging. So let's put dig. What's the first sound you hear in dig? D. D. D for dancing, so make your circle and then your line. What's the next sound in dig? Dig. There's Ichabod again. I for itching. What's the last sound in dig? Dig. G for gliding. So make your circle, straight line down, make your hook. And what does that say? Dig. So now let's sing the whole song. Ready? So sing your name here. I'll sing Rosie because that was in our recording, but you sing your name. Rosie, Rosie, what can you do? Rosie, Rosie, what can you do? Rosie, Rosie, what can you do? Skip to my Lou, my darling. Now what are we going to be doing? I can dig like a pig. I can dig like a pig. I can dig like a pig. Skip to my Lou, my darling. And we made those 2 words rhyme. Dig and pig both end with ig. So what do you need a picture of up here? I need a picture of you because your name is here. And then what else do you need to draw? You need to draw a pig. And what do you need to have that pig doing in your picture? A pig needs to be digging. So I hope you enjoyed that today. And tomorrow we'll take a look at what you drew pictures of and go back and review our song again, and then we'll learn a new character. So I hope to see you then.